There we go. We have the technology. Now
we may be 0-3, but we're 4 for 4 on our intros.
That's right. We're on time. We're not good, but we're prompt. So, welcome to the Eternal Baseball Podcast. This is 4.0. We're your hosts. I'm Mark Weber. This is Brent Rotundi, aka Roto. We're happy you joined us today. And if you're not here live, we're just going to assume you messed up the daylight savings time thing, and that you'll be here in an hour and catch the thrilling conclusion probably when I screw up. God, who's it going to be? Probably Armando Benitez and Jeff Franco and whatever back end of the Mets bullpen we decide to torpedo tonight as our perfect season continues. So we have wrapped up another week of Eternal Baseball, and tonight our game of the week is Phillies at Mets. And in the Eternal Baseball League, the Phillies are up 1 game on the Mets in the National League East. And that's, I think, going to be a pretty regular rivalry out there, given that the Mets have a lot of talent for, even though it's been a while, they're still considered an expansion team. And the Phillies, in all of our sims, are usually good because they have, 130 years of baseball to pull talent from. And it sets up another sub-rivalry in that division, too, and this weekend it was Expos at Nationals. And I'm like, wow, if this was real ball, right? If this was broadcast on television, I mean, that's a pro wrestling rivalry, right? They tried to take your franchise, right? So here come the Expos back from the dead looking for vengeance. It's like
Hogan, Iron Sheik,
right? It's like, I don't know if it's more wrestling or if it's more Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez film, right? Because this is Machete 4, the Expos' revenge, right? So, and I think the Expos took the first 2 games of that set, so good for them. And we've talked about it a little bit. Like, I grew up a Yankee fan, so I pull for New York a bit, but I pull for Montreal because I always felt bad about how that franchise got ripped away. And how it got so totally dismantled after the lockout in '94, right? Like, I was so sure they were going to win that title because they were stacked. And they're suffering Yankee fans, really. But I really started paying attention in 86. And they had never gone, right? They'd never gone to the playoffs. But in '94, they were good for the first time after like 3 terrible seasons. And so Yankee fans were all excited about, okay, well, this is like the Yankees of old. We're rolling through the American League here. And it just felt like the Yanks might have gone to the series, and the Expos probably would have. They were so good. And then it would have been Expos Yankees in the World Series, with the Expos the favorites, and tons of eyeballs on that series, I think.
That was amazing.
Instead, and I think about how angry I was as a shortly suffering Yankee fan from the cancellation of the World Series. But God, for the Montreal fans who were closing in on their first title ever, and then when they came back, they didn't even have half the team left, right? I think Ken Hill was gone, and Wetland was gone, and Grissom and DeShields and Larry Walker, and I don't know if it was all that offseason, but they were swiftly dismantled, right? In a way that future Marlins executives are probably like, wow, that's pretty cool. didn't know you could do that, right? Wow, you just put a yard sale sign out in front of the stadium.
Note to self.
Yeah, hey, good news.
The Indians were really good too, weren't they? Wasn't that the year that Matty Williams was on track for?
Yeah, I think it might have. Or Williams wasn't Indian yet. He was a Giant, but he was out of control, right? He was on pace for
gotcha.
Williams was only an Indian for 1 year, and he hated it so much. And I don't know if that was a Cleveland thing or an Indian thing, or if he was just a West Coast guy. But when he was in Arizona, he was on record saying, I told Cleveland to trade me or I would retire. So,
wow.
And Matt Williams took things pretty seriously. Pretty serious guy, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a guy who's going to bluff on that. Probably.
Right. The guy's nicknamed Sarge, right? I don't think he's bluffing. And that's partly what got him to Arizona, at least, that far west. But yeah, he had that fantastic year. And I think, wasn't Gwynn hitting like 390 or something?
Yeah.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Worst year for a strike, man. There's so many better years.
It was so bad. And the only people happy were the Blue Jays because they got to fly that world championship flag one more year. And they were bad that year. That was the year the money came due, right? And they finally ran aground. But they got to be the defending world champs, right? For 2 years off of one title, or at least that last title. So anyway, I always felt bad for Montreal. And for me, January of 95 is when I transferred down to Arizona State and got to go to a spring baseball game. And just walking out of that tunnel and seeing that green grass was just like a religious experience. It was like, well, these guys are playing. So got to go up, watch some Sun Devil baseball, nearly get beat up by Jake Plummer in the offensive line in my first 2 weeks at ASU.
What? off
it
channel?
Was bad. Yeah, my fault, but I didn't do anything wrong. But anyway, I was there 2 weeks and I made the starting quarterback mad. What are you gonna do? And his 5 gargoyle ogre henchmen, right?
Those linemen, man. I went to a couple parties at U of O, and those, where the linemen were just. I'm here. You walk in the front room, and there's probably 7 linemen just all standing against the wall. It's like I may have ventured in the wrong place here.
Right. I figured they just surround the keg, right, and decide who gets through and who doesn't.
Yes. I think we departed rather quickly, but
yeah, wrong house. We'll be we won't be back. But it was a good week, and we were really excited last Sunday on the podcast because we had 2 kind of seminal performances that day. Right, Manny Ramirez hit 4 homers in a 5-for-5 day when he got hit by a pitch too late in the game because why not? He's already hit. I think he hit 3, had a double, and then got hit in his 5th at bat, and then in his 6th at bat hit the 4th homer. So I always when I look at a box score, I think about what that would have looked like live on television, right, or on SportsCenter that night, or you can just see Manny getting hit and nodding on his way to first, and then that next at bat, right, with them up 16-5, right. He's not going the other way, right.
It's Patriots time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Running that score up. So anyway, and we had our first no-hitter, and it's the first one I've ever seen, and we weren't watching it super close, right? But we simmed 10 seasons before we went live just to iron things out, make sure things were rolling. We didn't want to get to the playoffs and have the thing glitch. And I wasn't watching it super close, but I had never seen a no-hitter thrown before. And so Dean Chance of the LA Angels threw our first no-hitter last Sunday. And it was a bit of a harbinger of things to come. So I want to share this with you here. Let's see if I can do this right again. Share this screen. And our favorite button, the share audio button. All right, so here we go. So this was the 9th, March 9th. This was Tuesday. And I watched this game play out live. It was the Birmingham Knights. That's our collection of the greatest talents from Negro League history at Seattle. Okay, and they were both good squads at the time. Seattle actually had a rough week. But this night, it was Satchel Paige against Randy Johnson. And it's just, if you're
here, all about. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Let's just embrace the nerd, right? Like if you're here, you're a baseball nerd, just like me, just like Brent, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So and remember, every player in this game at their absolute prime, right? If Satchel Paige versus Randy Johnson doesn't make the hairs on your arm stand up, then you are in the wrong place, right? Not that we want to scare off any of our 12 viewers, but if you're here on accident, if you were here for the cat video or the floor show, you're in the wrong place. So I want to pop this box score up here to show off the Sweet Knights logo anyway. And look down here at the pitching line. So no offense to our friend Satchel Paige, who threw 155 pitches in a 9-inning shutout, gave up 4 hits, 1 walk, struck out 16. So, I mean, just rocking it. But the big unit threw 9 shutout innings, only 3 hits given up, 2 walks, and he had struck out 20 guys. So that is.
You could just picture the infielders just sort of strolling, or like the outfielders just kind of, they're starting to look in the stands.
Right. Brett Boone's restringing his glove during play. Was not a bad idea. But what I loved about this so much, because Randy's got 20, I think Scherzer has 20, Kerry Wood has the famous 20 strikeout game, and then Clemens was the first, like baby Clemens in 86, actually did it to the Mariners in the Kingdom. So Randy struck out 20, and I don't know if he knows the record or not. That's the 9-inning record. So he came out for the first 2 outs of the 10th inning, right? Jack Morris stuff, which is amazing for an April start, right? So he struck out the first guy he faced and then got like a ground out. And so he had 21 strikeouts. And I thought at the time, that's the record, right? For overall, nobody's ever struck out 21. So I looked it up, and I'm wrong. It ties the record for an extra inning game. There was a guy, I should have written it down. There was a dude, a young journeyman for the Washington Senators in like 62, Senators Orioles, like 4,000 people there, struck out 21 Orioles in a 16-inning performance where he threw 225 pitches.
Wait, this is in the 60s?
Yeah, just an absolute career killer, right? And he had quotes, and he said, I wasn't even tired. And then like an hour after the game, it hit me like a truck. I'm like, yeah, a truck that ran over your arm, dude. So that's the all-time. And that guy gave up like 4 runs, which is not bad over 16 innings. And I think he threw like 7 innings of no-hit ball from the 8th through the 15th inning, right? Like
stealing.
And if you're the manager, right, and he says, "No, I'm good, Skip." Well, they can't hit him, so okay.
In the 60s too, it's like what? Okay,
whatever, right? But still, like 225. Good Lord. So anyway, the game went on, and then they went to the pens, and I think it's Smokey Williams, I think is his name. He's a setup guy for Birmingham. He's really good. And he came out, and in the bottom of the 10th, Dan Wilson just annihilated a pitch way out to right. And it was so anticlimactic, right? Because it had just been Paige and Johnson in this death duel. And J.J. Poots, it's very particular how you pronounce his name, got the win of all things after Randy goes 9 2/3. But anyway.
That's like the soccer player that the forward, the ball is bouncing in, and then right before it crosses the line, he runs up and just hammers it.
Just bam! I know a guy who did that once. But it was the game. I mean, it had to be the game of the year. It was amazing. And so I hope they match up again down the road, and who knows, maybe even in the playoffs. So that's Birmingham and Seattle with probably the game of the year. I don't know how it couldn't be. And I love looking at the K numbers, right? Look at the K column up and down, like
just ridiculous.
Omar Vizquel and Dan Wilson are like, you didn't get me, right? But every one of these nights took it at least once. Leadoff guy 0 for 5, 4 Ks, like Louis Santop. It was a bad day up in Seattle. So, but that gives us, looking at the week. So I've got our favorite little bar graph here. So I may have to zoom in here because I don't want to eye chart everybody too badly, but the colors will help. So we're looking at
Cincinnati, man. They hit the brakes.
I kept saying that Cincinnati was the biggest surprise, right? Like they are normally a very good squad, and they had 3 losing weeks in a row, and then this week, they go 4-3. So when you've had 3 losing weeks in a row, that'll help. I did bold our division leaders out here. So you've got the Birmingham Knights at 12-11 leading the South. That's a division to watch because the South is all expansion teams. So it's of a sort, right? It's Texas, Tampa, Kansas City, and Birmingham. So there is no, 100-year-old franchise grandfather to steamroll the other squads in that division. The Red Sox are red hot, pun intended, and rolling in the American League East. The Tigers had a great week, 6-1. So they went from 10-6 to 16-7. So they're making some room in the American League North. The Astros are very good in the South. There's a tie out west, and it wasn't that long ago that the Twins were in the American League West when there was, a West and an East. So Minnesota's out west, and they're tied with the Angels right now atop there. And they've taken 2 from the Yankees this weekend, which I watched and struggled through, but that's okay. And then we've got the Phillies, who we're going to see tonight. They're a game up on the Mets. And the Giants are the toast of the entire league. 18-5. They had the Dodgers this weekend, won the first 2. And then the Cardinals, who started off poorly, but I think these 4 losses, and maybe the first one of the next week, were all 1-run losses. So it really looked like the Cardinals were probably going to turn it around. And 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, that'll get you back on track. The one team that's really scuffling right now, and the one we pointed out last week, was Milwaukee. But Milwaukee had a nice little week here, right? 5-2. So they won 4 games in their first 3 weeks, but 5 games this week. So Milwaukee has shown a pulse, which we appreciate. The team that just got derailed this week, Toronto, 0-7, dropping from 6-10 to 6-17. And it's their pitching staff. There are 4 guys, none of them living up. Jimmy Kee's been okay, but Roy Halladay and Marcus Stroman and one other guy.
Wells, huh?
I think Wells is actually out of the pen for them. But the guy who's getting absolutely killed is Dave Stieb, who's their number 2 starter and is pitching to like a 13.5 ERA. He has just gotten lit on fire every start. So I put that up on our message boards and said, if you think it's time to give Steve a little relief time, or maybe even put him down on the farm for a little bit, they have every team has options, but they've got Pat Henkin, they've got David Wells. I know Aaron Sanchez isn't thought of real fondly there anymore, but he's riding off that AL ERA title in his peak ERA there, so he's a viable option too. So I put that up in the Blue Jays message board at eternalbaseball.com. Is it time to give Steve a little rest? Maybe not for the full year, but we'd love to hear from Blue Jay fans, because we don't want anybody to have a tough season. In the end, there's going to be some winners and some losers, but it's early enough that there's time to course correct. So, maybe we can help our baseball North fans up there. But that's what you're looking at. And then, I like the color coding here because it shows you the teams that have, if you look at it horizontally, nobody's just been dreadful all the way. But the Giants have had 4 winning weeks, and they really look like the class of the whole thing right now. So we did have a funny bit today. Great game yesterday, Atlanta at Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati at Atlanta. And with the Braves trailing 6-4 in the 9th, the first 2 guys got out somehow. And then Ozzie Albies, who was one of our players of the day today, hit a solo shot to make it, what was it? It was 6-4, made it 6-5. Then Fred McGriff walked. Then Dale Murphy homered. Game over. The TBS fans went crazy.
I was going to say, I have a soft spot in my heart for them.
Yeah, Pete Van Wieren and Skip Carey.
There you go.
Lost their minds. So we posted that up as the player of the day on our Facebook page, and I share it with our Atlanta fans, right? Not with our Cincinnati fans, because that'd be mean. And you get people who are dialed in, who know what we're doing, and then you get people who aren't, right? Who it's brand new to them, and it's an opportunity, right? And so one guy immediately said, "Shouldn't have surprised you. He's Ozzie Albies, right?" And I'm like, "That's right. He's great." And then the next guy said, "Isn't Dale Murphy a little old to be playing center field?" And I was like, "Well, you're going to love Hugh Duffy, who died in probably the 70s, I think." Anyway, So I said, you know what? Hey, good point. Here's what we're doing. Here's a link. And if I can, I always attach the box score, right? Because it gets real when you see them in order. And so anyway, we made Fred on the Atlanta Braves.
Dale Murphy, a little old.
Reminded me, I read it in Rick James's voice, right? Because in Charlie Murphy, a little old to be taking karate. Projects with those little kids too. So that was exciting. But we also had, it's broken now, but Nomar Garciaparra, who's an absolute beast, leading both leagues in batting up here at 412. He had a 20-game hit streak, which was a record for Eternal Baseball through Friday. That got broken on Saturday. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows up in Boston, but they're doing real well. And what people need to be cognizant of, and Yankee fans should be scared of right now. Granted, New York's only a game back, but there are no wild cards, right? You win your division to make the playoffs. So Boston's at 17-6. Normally a 16-8 Yankees team wouldn't be that upset, right? They're winning 2/3 of their games. They're fine. They got, look at the top 3 homer guys, all Yankees, no problem. But if they don't win the East, they don't go at all. They don't go to the dance. So, you want to keep an eye on that. You don't want to lose that division. So,
man, the Yanks have the top 3 home run hitters.
Yeah, huh? I mean, if you give Rodriguez the advantage over Hafner was an absolute beast for Cleveland for a couple of years, and I had a couple Indians fans grouse about his inclusion, and I'm like, you're taking the long view, basically, right? That you wouldn't consider Hafner an all-time great Indian, and that's not what I'm campaigning for. I'm just saying what the whole shebang is based on is at his peak, right? A guy who was nicknamed Pronk, I think, because he was part pro, part donkey. So, okay, but he was an absolute beast for a couple of years. So it didn't surprise me when he came wandering up the leaderboard. And that's where we're at. So it's one other thing. On our website at eternalbaseball.com, you can sign up for our newsletter, which is a little deeper dive into what's going on with the league, what's coming up. It's a great way to send us feedback as well. And we set out our very first one this Friday to a couple hundred people who've subscribed. You know what? Can't beat the price, free of charge. So if you'd like a little deeper dive into what's going on with Eternal Baseball, head to our website, subscribe for the newsletter. We're going to try to get those out more regularly. And given that Friday is a day off where there are no games in Eternal Baseball, it seems like a really good time to drop that newsletter out there. So we'll try to make that a Friday tradition moving forward.
I'll try to archive them on the website too before too long here. So we'll send it out on social media when we have that up and running for back issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's some quality text right there, right? So we certainly want to preserve it. So moving on, this was today's action, which was already posted up on the website. And we're giving you the first game from Monday, which is the wrap up of these sets. So it'll be Philadelphia, the 14-9 Phillies at the 13-10 New York Mets. Sure, I click the right button. So we'll be Mets. The computer will be Philadelphia. As stated many times, we are 0-3. And I thought we were getting a good pitching matchup here that maybe we could avoid an ace and have maybe just a little bit better chance. And it turns out not the case at all. We get Grover Alexander and his 1.79 ERA. And I know Mets fans cringed when they saw the matchup because it's Matt Harvey for the Mets. And so immediately there's nothing but sour feelings, right, about the unfulfilled potential of the Dark Knight. But remember, this is Eternal Baseball, so this is peak Dark Knight. So we're talking, all-star games starting, absolute terror. So
this is our week.
This could be it. The one thing that we're out Darryl Strawberry, who's out with I think it's an injured calf. So he's out for a couple weeks or for most of this week. Tommy Agee got called up from the minors. I hate saying minors, but the farm, inactive, however you want to call it. So for the Mets there, let's load up their right-handed lineup. And it's missing Strawberry, right? So we're going to need to monkey with our outfield a little bit. Alexander is a right-hander. So if we look at OPS versus righties in order,
Kevin McReynolds.
it's like McReynolds. McReynolds doesn't play right, but Conforto does. So if we move Conforto to right field and move McReynolds into left, that's where we're at. And then from a lineup perspective, McReynolds might be a little high up. Let's see. Maybe we swap him and Beltran.
We're going to have to get Gregg Jefferies in there for Rivers at some point. Yeah.
I read Jefferies had, I think, all black bats, right? When it was kind of a rare thing. And he loved them. He would like shine them up and keep them real nice. And I think they got didn't they get rid of Wally Backman to make room for him at second? And a lot of the vets didn't like that. It was a pretty rowdy Mets clubhouse at the time. And so when Golden Child arrived, and reportedly he didn't do anything wrong, right? You just had so much fanfare. And him sitting there polishing his bats before the game just rubbed everybody the wrong way. And then eventually they traded, what did they do eventually? They traded Dykstra and Roger McDowell straight up for Juan Samuel. And Samuel was, quite good player and a decent second baseman. And but when he got to the Mets, they wouldn't let him play second because that's for Jefferies. So they tried to make Samuel an outfielder with horrific results. So everybody was mad at Jefferies for something that was not his fault at all, I don't think. And there's one game that following year where Roger McDowell is facing Jefferies, right? McDowell, the Philly now, against Jefferies, the guy everybody on the team doesn't like. And he broke one of his black bats, right? Got him to splinter it. And then just cursed him out the whole way down to first base, which caused like a bench clearing situation. And McDowell later said he was probably out of line. But anyway, long story long.
Let's see if we can find that clip. We'll post it on our
yeah, Roger McDowell curses out Gregg Jefferies. So anyway, for pitchers, I think they were so their ace is Seaver. He just went. Gooden went a couple days ago. DeGrom went. They're so good. Top three, right? Seaver, Gooden, DeGrom.
DeGrom, wow.
Man, but yeah, DeGrom's their number three. Like
ridiculous.
Yeah, that might change after the year, right? When we can put a new year's worth of stats in. But it will be Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, popping in. And I think we're ready to go.
I'm just excited to get Jesse Orozco in at some point.
Right? Through the glove that never came down. Oh, the one thing I haven't checked, this is a tab here that it's a little hard to read, but this is what they're doing actually in Eternal Baseball so far. So you can see like Keith Hernandez is killing it, but he's had 5 at bats. So let's keep it under perspective. Keep it, in perspective. It doesn't look like there's anybody we're missing terribly. Although Howard Johnson has been getting it done through 33 at bats. But
David Wright's the starter. Is that
Yeah, Wright's the starter and has really struggled so far with a lot of the bats. His OPS is 580.
Hey, if you're feeling it, man, go for it. That seems like I don't think that would be too controversial.
I think what? Let's play the hot hand. He's not quite as good at third defensively, but so we got Hojo in for I benched David Wright. We'll see how that goes over. But yeah, let's tee it up.
Welcome to Citi Field for tonight's game between Philadelphia and New York. Philadelphia has won 8 of their last 10. Grover Alexander will start for Philadelphia. He's made 6 starts on the year and is 4-0 with an earned run average of 1.70. His second start against New York, he's 1-0 with a 386 earned run average against New York. He'll be opposed by Matt Harvey for New York. He's made 4 starts on the year and is 2-0 with an earned run average of 2.45. His second start against Philadelphia. It's 44 degrees, wind speed 13 miles per hour, left to right. Pitching for New York, number 33, Matt Harvey.
We just need to weather these first 3 innings. That's all.
Center fielder, Billy Hamilton.
You got Derek Weber making his Eternal Baseball debut. All right.
My daughter asked if she and Derek could do their own version.
That's a good idea.
That would probably get better ratings.
Right. Just mashing buttons, right? Look at this. I don't even know what happened. All right, so here we go. So I like showing off the faces. So we got McReynolds in left, looking very serious. Carlos Beltran. Mets fans still say, oh, yeah, staring at that third strike, huh? Like they're still mad at him for the playoff game. Michael Conforto over there. Pete Alonso. There are some Met fans who scream about Keith Hernandez not getting the start at first over Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Alonso gets a huge benefit from small sample size, right? Because he only had 1 year. We aren't using 2020 stats unless it's helpful to the player because it was such an abbreviated and weird season. Fonzie's a great second baseman. I never thought he got enough credit. Jose Reyes, give us some steals. Hojo, Dark Knight, Mike Piazza. There was a insane Padres fan who was like, how come we don't get Piazza? Like, because, I mean, you had to blink, and if you blink, you missed him, right? Right at the end. So, anyway, here's Billy Hamilton, not the one who can't hit, right? This guy's an absolute terror. So we'll see how he does. See.
First baseman.
What's his steal percentage? Like,
yeah, you know what? It's obscured from me, unfortunately, because of this. But I know he's great, so he's going to go. We'll try to pick him off just to keep him a little closer. I'll have to rework the stadium image because that's unfortunate, and I probably can't jury rig it on the fly.
No worries.
We'll see what Ed Delahanty has for us.
Left fielder, Dick Allen.
So a bad throw.
Uh-oh.
And Delahanty's from Harvey to second. Tried to get Hamilton to second, threw it in the center field. Now they're both safe.
Now, is that 80% or 50%? My eyesight is so terrible.
80%
to steal third.
Yeah. Because Piazza's not badly rated, a 7 with a 5 arm, but we'll go pick off, and they say which base. And given that Harvey just threw it away to center field on the previous play, I mean, why not? All right, now it's down to 49.
There we go. Okay.
That's a little. And now here's Dick Allen, borderline Hall of Famer, who's an absolute terror.
Second baseman, number 20.
All right.
Chase Utley.
Mets fans love Chase Utley. Right? Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not coming back.
That's our first 3 innings are just murder.
My goodness.
And now we got Schmidt.
3 in, 1 out. Yeah, no problem. Who's up next? Mike Schmidt. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we'll walk him.
Catcher, number 29.
All right.
Darren Dalton.
Just for the sake of not having a complete snoozer on our game of the week, looks like Cone just pitched. Looks like Jerry Koosman.
There we go.
Is our bail us out guy if things go really wrong. We're on our way. Here's Darren Dalton, who made a believer of Chris Ridenauer.
Yeah.
And the beat goes on.
Right fielder, Chuck Klein.
Well, hello, Chuck.
Klein.
Right? Chuck, how about a little tapper? All right. We're back on track.
Here we go.
Magee.
Sherry Magee. What a name.
Right? Aren't too many Sherry McGee's around anymore. Oh, boy.
Pitcher.
You know what?
Grover Alexander.
We get the pitcher.
Here we go.
Thank God.
There we go. Hit by pitch.
Right? We're going to clock him. Oh, boy. All right.
Pitching for Philadelphia.
So the Optimist.
All right. We're still in it. We're still in it.
Yeah, the optimist would just say, hey, we haven't even had a chance to get our swings yet, right? Get some back. So Michael Conforto.
All right. Oregon State, right?
Is that right?
First baseman, number 20.
So you immediately just like him, I assume.
You know, you come from Oregon. It's overplayed a little bit. You're just kind of glad that there's some success at all.
I mean, it wasn't like Oregon State was threatening you guys when you were over at U of O, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oregon didn't have a baseball team then either, so
yeah. I'm just thinking football and basketball wise, it was low tide for a long time over in Corvallis.
Yeah. Oh, Eugene too for a lot of that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, Pete Alonso. Look at that. Mike Schmidt drops it.
Fielder, Carlos
Beltran hitting 136 on the year. Didn't quite have the distance there.
Mike Piazza.
All right, here we go.
5 homers so far for Mikey P. Let's see. All right. We got something going. First and third.
Left fielder, Kevin McReynolds.
Here we go. Here we go.
The
Center
lineup.
Fielder, Billy Hamilton.
Hey, we just saw this guy. So I don't want to pull Harvey 33 pitches in, even though that was only 1 inning. But if he gets in trouble, Guzman is ready. It's like a bunt foul. Oh, no, he ran into the bunt.
Baseman, Ed Delahanty.
Weird things.
We'll take it.
Yeah, it's fine with me. We could have used that last inning.
Left fielder, Dick Allen.
Oh boy. I like how in the
Second
sim,
baseman, Chase Utley.
even the sound of the bat is different on a really well struck ball.
That's a nice touch.
I dig that you get the audio cue of uh-oh. So here's Chase Utley going for 2. No.
Third baseman,
All right.
Howard Johnson.
All right. So it does matter if you leave a guy, like you can't just leave a guy ready in the bullpen forever. So I'm going to sit Jerry down. Hopefully we won't need him. And here's our big play for the day. Hojo in for David Wright.
Second baseman, Edgardo Alfonso.
One of the best nicknames ever, Fonzie. Right? So good.
Shortstop, Jose Reyes.
Reyes is not a good bunter, which is a shame with his wheels. But
there we go. All right, let's see what his stolen base percentage is.
Sad thing is we can't even see it. It's totally obscured here. I can't drag that.
No worries. It's not worth messing with.
I was just saying if there's a view, if there's a way to change. I'm sure there's a way to change it, but I don't know it. So
we'll send him blind. It'll be more exciting.
Yeah, Dalton's got a 5 arm. Come on.
Here we go.
Wait, with Harvey up though. Like if he gets thrown out, Harvey's going to lead off the next inning, right? So
stupid fundamental.
I'll hit and run if you want, but I think a straight steal is.
That's a smart play. Boo.
They were throwing over too, so yeah.
Third baseman.
It wasn't fun, Schmidt. But that's winning baseball right there.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel like it. So Mike Schmidt, the error-prone third baseman and redhead, steps up.
Catcher, Darren Dalton. Right fielder, Chuck Klein.
All right, Chuck.
Harvey found his groove.
Right? Good thing we didn't pull him.
Shortstop, Sherry Magee.
I can't take this guy seriously with the hat, right?
It sounds like it's hard not to say his name with a bad Irish accent.
Right? And
Sherry Magee.
I shouldn't talk, but I think there's like a 50% chance he's totally clean on top, right? It could be. So, Sherry Magee, I just talked mad smack. He legs it out.
Grover Alexander.
Whatever. We got Grover with 2 outs.
There we go.
Yeah, sit down, Grover.
Right fielder, Michael Conforto.
Back where we started. Mm-hmm.
First baseman, Pete Alonso.
One of these days, we're going to just rip out to a 5-0 lead, right?
Center
Oh, he
field,
went for it.
Carlos Beltran.
Look at that steal percentage. 6% take third. We're going to let you stay there, Pete. And Carlos. With the
Catcher, Mike Piazza.
Come on, Mike. Ah. One thing I like in the box scores, they actually keep track of the great plays and web gems. So it's like homers. And so when a guy later in the season makes a great play, it'll say, great play G or 35. And you're like, oh, he's been doing that all year. He's killing it. All right. Billy Hamilton again.
Did it go?
No, they got it.
Oh, okay.
Almost anything near the wall gets caught. I haven't seen very many wall scratchers that get out so far.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that's just how they choose to animate it, but sometimes the fielder will be, up by the 379 sign, making a catch, standing on top of the wall. So the outfielders doing a bang-up job.
Left fielder, Dick Allen.
So Reyes didn't even make a throw. And now Dick Allen. Oof. Ooh, nice catch. That looked like a sure
Second
double.
Baseman, Chase.
And McReynolds made a diving catch on the track. Save a run. And now New York's most wanted, Chase Utley.
Third baseman.
Here's our first comment of the game.
Can't get her.
I think it was a previous inning, but it certainly applies.
Yeah. He's not wrong. But if you've seen how we've handled the bullpen, you might be careful what you wish for there. Wild pitch or pass ball, wild pitch. All right, so with Schmidt up, 2 outs, first base open, and Dalton up next.
You thinking Kuzman?
No, I'm thinking Kuzma's not ready yet. If we want to get him working, it'll take a while. But I'm thinking we put Schmidt on and pitch to Dalton with first base open and 2 outs.
I trust your judgment.
Well, I don't know why you would, but all right, we're gonna put him on out of sheer redhead respect. Yep.
Catcher, Darren Dalton.
Now we'll see if Dalton murders us for that or not. A wild pitch. Awesome. We could do the same thing, but Klein's numbers are actually better than Dalton's. So I think we'll take our chance with and Harvey's at 100 pitches. So I think this is it for Matt Harvey.
Yeah, give it a go.
All right, we're getting the pen ready.
Right fielder, Chuck Klein.
So because we have a righty on the mound, Kuzman made sense anyway, and who's left-handed. It'll take him a little while to warm up, though. Maybe should have got him started when James told us to. So remember that next time. Chuck Klein. Single to center.
Oh, no.
Shortstop.
6-0 Phillies.
Magee.
Here's another comment from James. Yeah, that's
Right.
sort of the same way in the Kingdom back in the day. Everybody would stand up, and then it'd be about 20 feet in front of the track.
Right? It took me a while to as a baseball fan, figure that out on TV, right? For like the first 2 years I really watched baseball, I thought every fly ball was gone, right? Just crack that, it's gone. And you see like the center fielder wouldn't even move, right? Just drops right in. A good, 60 feet shy of being gone. Took me a while. But and Sherry McGee as well. Okay, so you can get away with this sometimes.
Grover
He's
Alexander.
still warming up?
He's warming up, but if you do it, you can do a mound visit.
Yeah, let's do
And
that.
that buys you some time. Hey, how you doing, Matt? Oh, I look tired. Yeah, you look crappy, actually. But all right, Jerry Kuzman, welcome to Eternal Bay. Oh man, let's make sure I do this right. So, New York, not bullpen, but roster. We were good with our switches last time.
It's going to get to the point where we only do AL games just so we don't have to do this.
So we have to do this. I don't think there's no real place to move him. McReynolds is going to lead off next. So I can't put him for Hojo. That doesn't help. I don't want to swap out any of the top guys.
Yeah, just do it.
All right. It'll be a bullpen game from here on out. So Kuzman, come on down. Jerry Kuzman. Right there.
Pitching for New York, Jerry Kuzman.
Not enough money for an undershirt back then, apparently, because Kuzman's looking like the Wookiee of the year. But
that worked in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, right. Well, we're pitching to Grover Alexander, so let's hope super fresh Jerry Kuzman can get it done. No, single to center
fielder,
for the pitcher,
Billy Hamilton.
Billy Hamilton back again. All right.
Left fielder,
mercifully,
Kevin McReynolds.
8-0 Philly. This is like we need to move ahead to further action, but. We'll pick up the pace a little bit. This is Kevin McReynolds.
Howard Johnson.
Hojo making me look great for benching David Wright today.
Second baseman, Edgardo Alfonso.
Fonz is on fire.
Shortstop, Jose Reyes.
Oh, we got something.
Pitcher.
All right, don't call it a comeback. Here we come.
This is perfect because Kuzman. Oh, we got 2 outs though. We got to get somebody ready. Let's see. So yeah, I think it's I'm not Orozco yet. He's powerful against lefties. I think it's gonna be.
I mean, Orozco, didn't he usually pitch maybe like 10 pitches total? He faced usually one batter, right? So
yeah, that's pretty much it.
We log him for six innings here, 5 innings.
Oh, you know what? We don't want Randy Myers. He's listed as a starting pitcher, which isn't going to help us. So we'll go with Orozco.
This will be the longest appearance of his career.
Right. He was in one of those weird, like 17-inning games where they swapped him and McDowell out of left field. So they would come to the mound and then go back out. It was ridiculous. Okay, so this is Alexander's a righty. So we're looking at who are our best OPS right-hander guys. Hey, David Wright, who knew? We'll go with Keith. Since the Mets fans are always after me for not getting Keith Hernandez in. So,
pinch hitting for New York, number 17, Keith.
Look at that mustache.
Right? Let's see, Keith. You know what? Just like that.
Right fielder.
First baseman boots it.
Conforto.
We are on the board.
And
baseman,
back in the dugout.
Delahoe.
All right, Orozco. You're my man. Yep,
pitching
right there.
for New York, Jesse Orozco.
It's a good-looking man right there.
Left fielder, Dick Allen.
Dick Allen having a tough
Second
day.
baseman, Chase Utley.
Well, next time we'll start Orozco.
Right.
Alonso.
We can go with an opener. Nobody says we can't. Got to try something.
He probably should.
Pete Alonso.
Center fielder, Carlos Beltran. Catcher, Mike Piazza.
All right.
Left fielder,
Tattooed it,
Kevin
but right at Schmidt.
McReynolds. Third baseman, Mike Schmidt.
So Myers is ready. I don't know how tired Orozco is after 4 outs.
I just want to see him pitch another inning.
It says he seems strong. All right, we're going to settle Randy down and trust Jesse can get us through one more inning. If he gets in trouble, though, oh, boy. You look at that. Mike Schmidt just annihilated that ball. His third homer, all against the Mets. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike. 9-1. Pending.
Right fielder, Chuck Klein.
Chuck Klein,
Shortstop, Sherry Magee.
who we've made fun of all day, even though he's walked, singled, and walked. So maybe I should have laid off of Sherry McGee's receding hairline. Yep, he's still mad.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he just went.
Alexander.
He just went inside the park. Just went inside the park. I haven't seen one of those before. So Orozco's given up 2. One the old-fashioned way and one the little league way. Okay, here's Grover Alexander, 1 for 3 on the day.
Sherry McGee.
Right? All right, so this is like an absolute tapper to third with not much of a chance to get the pitcher at first, meaning that if you throw it, there's a better chance you're going to throw it away than get the guy. But come on, we're down 10-1. Like, you threw it away.
Center fielder.
Oh, it's another laugher on Eternal Baseball. All right, Jesse Orozco.
Third baseman, Howard Johnson.
So his arm is going to fall off. So let's get the pen going again. Cone just threw some yesterday. They did Syndergaard. DeGrom couldn't, Seaver. It's like Matlack could go a little. Since we're mopping up here. Hojo.
Second baseman, Edgardo Alfonso.
David Wright's just sitting in the dugout going, Going for the win tonight, huh, boys?
Shortstop, Jose Reyes.
Yeah.
Pitcher, Jesse Orozco.
All right, good, because he's not going to bat. So, apologies to David Wright for omitting him. Tell you what, if Wright gets a hit, maybe I pull Hojo.
Let's do it. Sounds pretty good.
Just to
hitting for New York, number 5.
Liven things
David
up here.
Wright.
That's not going to do it.
First baseman, Ed Delahanty.
So in comes John Matlack.
Pitching for New York, John
Man,
Matlack.
I kind of like the close games that we threw away at the end better.
Yes.
Than the ones where we just got mugged in the alley.
Allen. Second baseman, Chase Utley.
Oh,
nice.
Look at that.
Could have used a few more of those today, but
Conforto.
Okay. It's the best part of the game. Because it means it's almost over. All right, enough. The pitcher bobbles it and still got him.
First baseman, Pete Alonso.
Been that kind of day.
Pitching for Philadelphia, Chris Short. Center fielder, Carlos Beltran.
Speaking of low moments in Mets history, when they opened their new stadium, I forget if it was the opener, but it was one of the seasons. They let fans vote on what the 7th inning stretch song was going to be, right? Like you get Sweet Caroline in Boston and fine. And the Mets didn't have a go-to song. So they let fans vote, right? Which is always a scary thing on the net. And so the video is great. It's got all the packed house opening day. And they go, okay, Mets fans. And now, after Take Me Out to the Ball Game, we'll play the song that you voted for the 7th inning stretch. Thank you for your participation. And let's go Mets. And then the unmistakable first chords of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up started to boom out, meaning that other not Mets fans had sabotaged the contest to make them suffer. And that nobody in management had seen that Never Gonna Give You Up Rick Astley get 80% of the vote.
So
and
they got
thought,
Rick rolled, basically.
Hey, wait a minute. So yeah, they rickrolled themselves. And up until this point, it was maybe the low point in Mets history. But we're just here to.
We're happy to do our part.
We're here to help, right?
Third baseman, Mike Schmidt.
And Michael Jack is back.
I always loved the way he retired. Just
Aaron.
just he was on the squad, and then one day he's just like, "Yeah, I'm done." Just
bawled at the press conference, right? And I'll have to look it up. I remember some people thought he had a terrible month, right? Like he went, I don't know, 2 for 80 or something, and just said, obviously I don't have it anymore. And there are some people, because I don't think he was that old. There were people who thought he was just in a terrible funk, right? Like he might have had 2 more years left in him, but that was a sudden one for me. But the one I like best was Kruk, who was a White Sox when he retired, and he had determined like a week before that he was done. And he said, but I'm not going to hang it up until I get one more good knock. I want one more good. It's like when you're shooting hoops, right? You never leave it on a miss, right? I'll stay in that gym an extra hour just to hit one, because that's how talented I am. And then Kruk finally hits this sharp single, runs through first, already taking the gloves off, just hands them and just walks to the dugout. And they're like, it's like the 4th inning or something, right? And they're like, pinch hitter, I guess, or pinch runner. And he was already in the shower before they came to talk to him. And
it's
they're
like that old
okay?
Flipper Anderson when he caught that touchdown pass. Again, I guess that was against the Giants. Or we may be like doubly knifing these fans here, but
right
when he just kept running straight into the locker room and didn't even look back.
Good night, everybody. I think they came and checked on him. And they're like, you okay, Kruk? He's like, yeah, I'm done. I'll be at Denny's in an hour.
I say, he's drinking a beer too when they checked on him at that point.
Absolutely. All right, Darren Dalton.
Right fielder,
Chuck Klein.
Shortstop, Sherry.
Probably don't need to fill in a game that's 10-1. I should keep the story short.
Sherry is killing us tonight.
He's so mad at us.
Short.
He's going to be the player of the day tomorrow.
Here's Chris Short, pitcher batting. Finally.
Catcher, Mike Piazza.
All right, boys. Bottom of the 8th. Rally time.
Left fielder, Kevin McReynolds.
It has been that kind of day.
Third baseman, Howard Johnson.
I mean, we have 8 hits. It hasn't been, they've just been very spaced.
Yeah, scattered them.
Hojo, look, with a double off the wall.
Ooh.
I mean, it's 10-1.
Gotta.
Yeah, we'll send him. But I'm not sending Hojo to third. No, he's already in scoring position. And yes! Kevin McReynolds.
Edgardo.
That was always the argument in New York because McReynolds was just a little beefy. And I remember the headline once was, "Is McReynolds fat?" A whole article on whether or not the left fielder is fat or not.
It had to have been the Post, right?
Right. It's the same thing with Roethlisberger, right? Every training camp, they're like, well, he's rounding into shape. Well, he's round. That's for sure.
I love Roethlisberger. Was it this preseason or 2 years back when he looked like a hobo?
Yeah. Just to cover up the chins, I think. Right? Yeah. Oh, man. Here we come.
Shortstop, Jose Reyes.
You know what? If Reyes gets on, I'm going to have to get somebody in for Matlack because we're going to have to pinch hit. So, let's go with Benitez.
You never know.
He's a wild man. Maybe we'll get some fireworks in a 10-3 game.
We'll give him a save situation there.
Right?
For Philadelphia, Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling into the game out of the Philly bullpen.
Wow.
That's how, no offense, it's Kurt Schilling. That's how deep Philly is that, well, in some ways, he was very good as a Philly, but he was lights out as a Diamondback. So his best baseball actually was played in Arizona. So this Philly Kurt Schilling is not quite the Kurt Schilling you might imagine, but still pretty damn good. Web gem from Sherry Magee.
Is that a second one today?
Might be. I think he had a great play, which is one step down.
Killing us for mocking him.
I guess we should have known. All right, so Schilling's a righty. OPS versus righties says Tommy Agee. All right.
Give it a go. Come on, Tommy.
He's going back down when Daryl's healthy later in the week, so here's your chance, kid.
For New York, Tommy Agee.
It's a center fielder / middle linebacker. Look at that jaw.
Yes.
Here
All
we
right,
come.
Tommy.
Right fielder.
Schmidt's having a bad day.
Right? Bad day for Mike Schmidt.
Or who's up? Conforto. All right.
Although Schmidt did hit one that hasn't landed yet. So it's mitigated, but not quite.
Center fielder.
Oh,
Billy
we need a pitcher.
Hamilton.
Feels like Billy Hamilton has led off every inning. Armando Benitez grudgingly coming in to
Pitching
pitch.
for New York, Armando Benitez.
Let's see who he hits first. I mean, why not? We got a 60% chance of catching this if we dive. If we miss it, it's a double or a triple. But I mean, it's 10-3. We gotta limit the runs.
First baseman, Ed Delahanty.
Hey, held him to a single. Dove, but trapped it, I guess.
Left fielder, Dick Allen.
Dick Allen's had a rough, well, he had a walk, but tough day for Dick Allen so far. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot Billy Hamilton steals like crazy, so I'll give him a little pickoff move. I mean, it'd be kind of a cheese move to take off up 10-3 in the ninth, but you never know.
Baseman, Mike Schmidt.
Who was the second baseman or the shortstop that Utley broke?
Oh, I forget his name.
Wasn't it a Met?
Yeah.
It was a terrible slide at second and especially from a guy who plays second for a living, right? He knows exactly what that feels like.
Yeah, that's what changed the rule, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine I would love to have seen Hal McRae's reaction when they instigated that rule.
Right. That was right after they changed, or maybe same year when Posey broke his leg blocking home plate, and they're like, all right, enough. All right, we've had enough here.
We'll have to post that clip of Hal McRae sliding into Willie Randolph.
Right.
In the day.
Both feet up.
I'm using the term slide very, very liberally.
There's audio of Billy Martin arguing with the ump about it. And he says, he just killed my second baseman.
He started his tackle on the base.
Right. I think McRae's the one it was Piniella later, same series or maybe the year after. There's a lot of bad blood in those Yankees-Royals games, late 70s. And I think it was Piniella slid into Brett at third really hard. And he popped up pretty much on top of Brett's leg. And they both started swinging, right? It wasn't even a hockey thing of want to go? Cool, in the gloves. He just popped up and it was on. And they beat on each other for 20 seconds before they separated them. And neither one got thrown out of the game. They were just all right, cool. Glad we got that out of the system. Good to go.
Hey, James found the, it was, Tejada.
Man. And up at that point, Chase Utley had a fantastic career. But he didn't really know anything about him, right? And then all of a sudden he was public enemy number one forever.
Well, it's just, just so much pressure, right? I mean, if he does a normal slide and doesn't break up that double play, he's going to get an earful.
Yeah. I remember it just struck me as weird because he was a second baseman, right? It wasn't like some slugger DH type who just went in brawny at second. It was dude, you do this for a living, right? That's. Oh,
well. Thanks for the look up, James.
Yeah, exactly. Good to have some backup here. Better than what we had out on the field tonight. All right, so
I love thinking of Billy Martin though arguing that because Billy Martin would have done the exact same thing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so here's Michael Jack. striking out.
First baseman.
So here we go.
Alonso.
Right.
Bottom of
8
the
runs.
ninth.
Here we go.
Kurt Schilling on the mound, 7-run lead.
I like the sepia picture of Kurt
Center
Schilling, man.
Right?
Beltran.
He's calm. He's relaxed.
All right. All right.
Down to it.
Piazza.
Mike Piazza. Oh, looks like he might got it. No. 80% chance if we send Beltran to second, but I'm not getting the last out at second base. So there'll be a no.
Left fielder. Kevin McReynolds.
All right, McReynolds. Wild pitch. Wild pitch. Oh, we're closing in, Brent. I'm telling you. And it's over. So,
Finals.
mercifully,
Philadelphia.
0 for 4.
Grover Alexander is the
yeah.
winner. He is now 5-0. Matt Harvey picks up the loss.
Although Alexander, I mean that guy's a buzzsaw.
5
Yeah.
on the season. Sherry McGee hit number 3. Mike Schmidt hit number 3. Time of the game, 4 hours.
Felt like 5. All right. Well, here's where you get into some of the nuts and bolts of it. This is STF, the stuff column, right? And if it says nothing, it means you just pitch to your capability, right? So Grover was just typical Grover, but he's an ace. He's Hall of Famer, fine. But Short was actually didn't have his best stuff today, and Schilling was should have been terrible, but we didn't get enough time with him to exploit that weakness for today. But old Matt Harvey was a double minus from jump, and he lived up to that. ERA jumps, I think, from 2.4 to 4.3. Kuzman was below average as well. Orozco was supposed to be better than advertised, but still gave up 2 earned in 2 innings. Matlack was below average, and Benitez was fine, but it was a little late by the time we went to Armando Benitez. So with that win, Philadelphia will extend their lead in the East up to 2 games, and we hope Mets fans will forgive us. I don't think it was David Wright sitting on the bench that cost us the game today. But the Dark Knight kind of living up to the later issues in the run, right? Not the early stuff that we really.
I think we've got the Cincinnati version of Harvey tonight.
Probably the Baltimore version too, if I'm reading the tea leaves. So there you go. So we dropped to 0-4. That's at least we're consistent. We will try to. I tell you what. Next week I'll look into it. We will try to find maybe the most lopsided game, record-wise, with the best home team advantage possible for teams we haven't played, haven't had on the show yet. We are trying to get around the leagues and not just play the same squads over and over again. So next week, I promise, we'll try to find the most likely home team to win, and we'll see if Brent and I can work our voodoo magic and poison yet another home team next Sunday on the Eternal Baseball Podcast version 5.0. If you're watching, we appreciate it. You can like us. You can subscribe on a YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us at Eternal Baseball, where scoreboard league leaders standings are updated daily. Box scores are in our message boards, which are team specific. If you're a Blue Jay fan, pop in. Let us know. What do you want to do with Dave Steve? Because he needs some help right now. And we want every team to be as competitive as possible. So we did have a fan this week in the Diamondbacks board suggest a different lineup. So we are going to try to tweak the lineup a little bit and see if we can get the Diamondbacks a little more peppy. So if there's somebody we're not playing, if we forgot somebody, if the batting order isn't working, drop us a line. We've always said we'll never know a team better than their diehard fans. So, and we want every team to be as competitive as possible. So drop us a line. Let us know how we can fix it. And we will do our best to get every team just knocking the cover off the ball. And that's it. That's another one in the books.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, we're at 70 minutes. Not bad. We will get it down to 60. It's not our fault. Well, maybe it is. that Philly kept scoring runs. But Philly fans, I'm sure you're happy tonight. Tune in tomorrow for the scoreboard and next week for another thrilling edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.